We begin this morning on the campaign trail where the big debate is over, the debates themselves, with just 2 weeks to go until the first scheduled showdown between Vice President Harris and former President Trump. Mr. Trump is raising doubts he'll attend.
First, Mr. Trump questioned whether the debate could be fair. Now the latest issue centers on a new rule change proposed by the Harris campaign about muting microphones. Now, you might remember in that last face-off at the Biden campaign's request, well, one candidate spoke, the other's microphone was muted to prevent interruptions. Well, now the Harris campaign is asking for mics to be left on at all times.
Doesn't matter to me. I'd rather have it probably on. The truth is they're trying to get out of it because she doesn't want to debate. She's not a good debater. She's not a smart person.
For more on all this, we are joined by NBC News senior national politics reporter Jonathan Allen. John, good to have you with us. So is this just back and forth bluster between the two campaigns, or could the debate really be in doubt?
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Savannah. Let me just say, by the way, you don't have to call in sick. You can say you're on assignment. It's one of the magic terms of the television industry when you're not there hosting. As far as the debates go, I think that the likelihood is that that they will go forward. Obviously, there's a little back and forth here, a little debate over the debates. But both candidates have an incentive to debate. Kamala Harris needs to, I believe, before this election is over, have some adversarial interviews, debates, that kind of thing. And Trump right now is trailing. So both of them have reason to do it.
John, our mics were down while we moved around the studio, so everybody didn't hear us rustling papers.
We muted our mics.
That got a big laugh out of the yeah, exactly. That got a laugh out of the both of us on assignment. That's very true. Biden's campaign team, remember, of course, made microphone muting a condition of its debate. What's the thought process for the Harris campaign in wanting the opposite?
I think they believe that former President Trump will at times during the debate lose his stuff. For lack of a better, more appropriate morning term. And so I think they think that he will say things, that he will try to cut off Vice President Harris, that he will try to cut off moderators, that he will act boorishly, which we saw in the first debate of the presidential election in 2020. And so they think that is to her benefit. I also think they just want to throw in some wrinkles. I think there is some desire on their part to basically, get under Trump's skin a little bit.
Both candidates set to ramp up their campaigns as we head into this home stretch now with the conventions behind us. And the recent polls do show Harris is making major inroads in battleground states where Trump is now campaigning. What are you going to be watching for in the next week or two here?
I think it's all about trajectory. We've seen Kamala Harris unify the Democratic Party quickly, a lot of energy at the Democratic campaign last week. The Democratic convention last week. And the question is, does she continue on an upward trajectory and sort of break free of the very even fever that the United States electorate has had over the last 8 years, or do we see this settle back toward the kind of race that it was before she got in? On the issues that Americans say they care most about, Trump had a lead on the economy. In terms of immigration, and it'll be interesting to see if that just sort of reverts to the mean, or if Kamala Harris is ready to take off.
All right, Jonathan Allen. John, thank you so much.
There could be more legal trouble lurking around the corner for Mr. Trump this morning. That is because federal prosecutors are asking an appeals court to reinstate the classified documents case against the former president.
You might remember Judge Aileen Cannon threw out the case back in July. She said that special counsel Jack Smith's appointment to the case violated the U.S. Constitution. Mr. Trump had pleaded not guilty to charges that he willfully retained national defense information after he left office, and that he directed the deletion of security video at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida.
For more, we are joined by NBC News legal analyst Danny Ceballos. Danny, good morning. Thanks for joining us. So this was widely seen as one of the strongest cases brought against the former president. What is it that Smith is arguing here?
Judge Cannon's original decision went against decades of understanding of how Congress can essentially authorize the appointment of a special counsel and under the Constitution. She essentially says that a case called Nixon from literally decades ago, which everyone has understood as authorizing special counsels like like these was just, as she called it, dicta. And that's a fancy legal word for when judges write opinions, when they're basically just chit-chatting as opposed to actually saying what the law is. Even though almost everybody has understood Nixon to basically authorize the appointment of special counsels, she says that it doesn't. Jack Smith is now arguing that, yes, Congress authorized the appointment of this special counsel by the Attorney General. It is both constitutional and within the U.S. statutes governing appointment.
Let's talk about this appeal. How is it going to work? Is there a chance this ends up before the Supreme Court?
Yes, there is an almost certainty it ends up before the Supreme Court, which is so dramatic because many observers, including me, would point to Justice Clarence Thomas's concurring opinion in the Trump immunity case, where many said, and I tend to agree, that he essentially signaled to Judge Cannon, hey, by the way, here's an issue that really isn't at issue in the immunity case, but it's whether or not Jack Smith was lawfully appointed. And then, lo and behold, Judge Cannon essentially adopts that reasoning and throws out this case. She's really the only judge in, I could say, American history that has found this way. Almost every other judge in every other court has gone the other direction. But because it's a very interesting issue of law, likely to end up at the Supreme Court.
Before we let you go, I do want to switch gears and ask you about something else important down in Georgia. So Democrats are suing the Georgia State Election Board. This is over alterations they're trying to make to the certification process of the election results. What are those changes and what's the implication here?
So normally state law governs how an election goes. But like the federal government, when you have state law, you often have agencies. Since the law doesn't cover every possible situation, you have what's called rulemaking, where non-elected officials sort of write out rules, and those rules have the power of law. Well, the argument now is that in this lawsuit, they're saying that, well, the new rules allow county election board folks to demand information and conduct a reasonable inquiry as to whether or not the vote should be certified. And Democrats are saying that conflicts with Georgia law, and therefore these rules are no good. And Democrats obviously are concerned that this will allow Republican-controlled boards to basically gum up an election by demanding a reasonable inquiry. They don't define what is a reasonable inquiry, and without a definition, they could essentially bring an election to a halt while they demand information to certify the votes.
Danny Savalos, we appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Summer might have saved its best for last as another heat wave moves across the country. In the Midwest, many states are seeing their hottest temperatures of the year. They're not the only ones feeling the burn. Heat alerts are now expanding to the Northeast in a summer that just does not seem to be letting up. NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa joins us now from Chicago with the latest on all this. Maggie, good morning. So I don't need to tell you an excessive heat warning is in place for Chicago where you are. Heat index expected to reach the triple digits. How are things looking there this morning?
Joe, they are bearable for the moment, as you can imagine, but we're bracing for what's to come. When you say triple digits, the heat index here in Chicago is expected to hit 115 degrees today. That's like what we talk about in Arizona and New Mexico, but this is with humidity. Obviously, this is the real field temperature. Our crew was out here today. They met a ton of people who admitted to us that they were indeed skipping work and or school to come here to Lake Michigan and seek refuge. So everyone really doing their best to just kind of make it through this, so to speak, staying inside as much as they can or coming to places like this. But it's about to get worse today and over the next couple of days. So everyone's really bracing for it.
Yeah, I mean, the heat also, of course, causing stress on schools. I mean, how's it impacting officials, parents, students who are returning to the classroom this time of year?
Yeah, yesterday was the first day of school for Chicago Public Schools, and the superintendent spoke yesterday immediately saying, hey, we know that we have some school buildings that are 100 years old or older. And he said, despite that, all of our classrooms, or at least all the rooms where we will put kids this week, have air conditioning. And he said, I want parents to know that kids will be safe. But we've seen outdoor activities canceled. No surprise there. We've seen the same thing like in Ohio and kind of other Midwest states. Milwaukee, Wisconsin canceling school yesterday as well. And this week amid this extreme heat. So everybody's doing their best to adjust. But it's definitely something school administrators and parents are thinking about.
Yeah, might be seeing a lot of indoor recess there over the next few days. Maggie, I also want to ask you, there was a thunderstorm that brought heavy rain and wind to the Twin Cities. That impacted the Minnesota State Fair, which is a huge deal in Minnesota. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah. I know, this video is insane. It kind of came in overnight. The rain came so quickly, along with 70-mile-an-hour straight-line winds. So there was some minor damage that we're hearing about, and we'll keep tabs on this to buildings on the fairgrounds and things like that. It sent people sprinting in what might be the most Midwest thing ever into the 4-H building, while there were students putting on some sort of like show with their farm animals and putting them on display. One person who apparently wanted a crowd for their kids' display tweeted, "This actually rocks to have like a captive audience while these kids are doing what they're doing." But suffice it to say, either way, everyone was safe, which is good. We're not hearing about any injuries, but the video from those fairgrounds really shows how quickly these storm systems can build and move in, catching a lot of people off guard amid this kind of summer of severe weather, Joe.
Big crowds for those 4-H kids showing off their animals. All right, Maggie Vespa, thank you so much.
It's a bright side.
Exactly.
Let's bring in meteorologist Angie Lassman for more on those heat alerts.
She's tracking all the severe storms making headlines this morning. Angie, good morning.
Good morning, guys. We do have additional heat alerts that have been added throughout the morning, and I expect these will continue to add on as the day goes on. We've got more than 70 million people included in this. Most recently, it's parts of the Northeast, now New York, Harrisburg. This goes into portions of Pennsylvania, but a good chunk of the Midwest, a good chunk of parts of the Great Lakes as well. And this is going to be with us here as we go through at least the rest of your day today. So temperature-wise, you heard Maggie talking about it a little bit, but here's the deal. We've got high 90s, triple digits for the actual temperatures across this region, specifically some of the warmest spots that we see. St. Louis with 102. Feels like temperature, though, 109. So there's plenty of, yes, heat, but also humidity to tap into. And that's going to make all the difference for the oppressive conditions for folks like Chicago with a high of 98 degrees and it feels like temperature of 110. Cleveland, similar story. It'll feel like 100 for both Cincinnati and Cleveland later today. And unfortunately, if you're looking for some relief in this area, we're going to have to wait a little while. There is some on tap, but we've got to get through at least the next couple of days for a good chunk of this region before we get some of the cooler, more typical kind of temperatures back in the picture. So Louisville tomorrow, it'll feel like 101. We've got 101 for what it'll feel like in Charleston, Pittsburgh, more of the same. I mean, really, the 90s are going to stick with us. And notice Washington, D.C. and New York, high 90s for Washington, D.C. actual temperature, 104 for what it'll feel like. New York, similar story. But look what happens by the time we get into basically the late week in Chicago. We'll get back to those more normal temperatures for this time of year, the mid 80s. That's where you should be for late August. We've still got the 90s for Cincinnati and Nashville, but Buffalo gets nicer. We'll see Philadelphia get back to the upper 70s. So some cooler air is on tap, and that is because of this system. We've got one that's going to move across parts of the Great Lakes here in the Midwest as we get through the day today. I'll show you what that means for later this afternoon, but already quite active across parts of the Midwest. We've got some thunderstorm warnings that are in effect for parts of Minnesota. You can see that line of thunderstorms working through. Plenty of lightning. There's lots of lightning with this line of thunderstorms across Michigan, and we've got some of that across other parts of the Midwest. And this is the kind of setup we'll see through the day today. Here's that cold front that I mentioned. That's going to work its way to the east here as we get through the day today. And the rain will be one thing that we're worried about. So the flash flooding, yes, is going to be an issue, but we also have the chance to see some of those strong storms developing yet again. So here's where you see the slight risk where that brighter yellow is. It does include major cities of Green Bay, Milwaukee, Chicago, Cleveland, and Detroit. So those are the spots that we're going to be watching for the more active thunderstorms later today. The impact's going to be likely the wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. That's what we're most concerned about. But we could potentially see some hail, maybe a tornado or two as the day goes on. So heads up about that. Now, as we get into tomorrow, the relief settles in on the backside of this cold front with that cooler air working in across the Great Lakes in the Midwest. But unfortunately for folks across the Northeast, that's when the showers and thunderstorms arrive, and we will once again be looking at a chance for some strong storms. Now, it's going to be the same impacts. So wind gusts and hail are going to be the main things that we'll watch for. The good news is that we will see that kind of tornado risk remain fairly low as we get into the day tomorrow, though. But eventually, that cooler air will start to work in behind the system, guys, and that, I think, is relief that everybody's looking for.
All right, Angie, thank you very much.
This morning, evacuations are underway in one coastal Alaskan town after a massive landslide buried parts of the community over the weekend. At least one person has died, and officials warn another landslide could be imminent. NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky has the latest.
Frightening new glimpses of an Alaskan town partially buried after a hillside collapsed. The devastating landslide crunching entire homes.
We were just at that house for a garage sale last weekend. This is terrible.
Sunday's tragedy unleashing a deadly wave of snapped trees, toppled power poles, pushing a mountain of debris into a hillside neighborhood. The slide sideswiping the town of Ketchikan, a seaside destination on Alaska's famed Inside Passage and a frequent stop for cruise lines. Officials confirming one person was killed while driving when the slide swallowed their vehicle.
I was stunned because in my 65 years here, I've never seen anything of that scale.
Mayor Dave Kiffer calls the loss of life heartbreaking, but stresses the current damage zone could spread even further.
There's about a quarter of the town currently at risk for yet another slide.
Yes.
How frightening is that?
It's very frightening. To be honest, I don't think of any people in Ketchikan walk about their daily lives thinking, hey, that mountain's going to come down. And now we have to.
As for any cause, officials say the landslide struck following an unusually dry August.
Look at that.
When a weekend storm left conditions soaked.
It's definitely heartbreaking to see. It affects your mind tremendously. It's traumatizing for sure.
Leah Canfield, one of several whose homes were damaged, all too aware this may not be over.
Our thanks to Morgan Chesky for that report.
Well, the SpaceX launch scheduled for this morning has been pushed back at least a day, which will delay the first ever civilian spacewalk after the discovery of a helium leak. The crew of 4 private citizens was originally set to lift off from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida on a mission dubbed Polaris Dawn. Now, the spaceflight is rescheduled for later this week, Wednesday morning at the earliest. It will travel nearly 870 miles above Earth's atmosphere. That's 3 times farther than the International Space Station. Its mission is to determine the effects of space radiation on astronauts and on the capsule. This flight will be the farthest humans have gone into space in more than 50 years. We'll keep you posted on that. Much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, a tech titan behind bars in France. The charges filed against the founder of Telegram over alleged criminal activity on the popular messaging app.
Up first after the break, ready to retaliate, Ukraine's president vowing to fight back after a second straight night of Russian airstrikes. We're going to bring you the latest next.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.